Go outside tonight when the frost first settles on the grass. Look closely at the dense holly bush by your mailbox. You assume the birds hidden inside are deeply asleep, waiting safely for dawn. They aren't. They are physically incapable of turning off their awareness. Right now, in the freezing dark, they are awake, but only on one side of their brain. A strange biological waiting game is happening inches from your door. Why are they locked in this invisible, half-frozen state? Let's discover the secret of the 3 a.m. yard. The yard at 2 in the morning appears completely empty. The frost is hardening on the edges of the dry grass. It locks the soil beneath a thin layer of white ice. The air is heavy, perfectly still. To a human stepping onto the back porch, pulling a coat tight against the chill, the neighborhood is shut down. You look out at the fence line and see nothing but shadows. You hear nothing but the faint rustle of dry leaves. Where did they all go? That stillness is a flawless illusion. The darkness is not resting. While you sleep, a massive, invisible night shift is clocking in all around your house. A whole separate community of quiet neighbors is operating in the cold. They are actively mastering a microscopic physical struggle just to see the sun come up. Look closer. The empty space is entirely alive. Walk past the frozen lawn. Look carefully into the center of that holly bush by the wooden fence. Deep inside the tangled branches, a northern cardinal is tucked away. He is sheltered from the biting wind, clinging perfectly still to a thin wooden branch. He is about the weight of a single dry cherry, a tiny, fragile spark of heat surrounded by miles of freezing air. You might think he is unconscious, completely surrendered to the night. He is not. The freezing wind acts like a vacuum, pulling the heat straight out of his feathers. The cold is a heavy, physical weight pressing against him, but the night is completely full of shadows that move. Feral cats on the prowl, raccoons navigating the fence line, the sudden, quiet snap of a dry twig under a heavy paw. Would you even recognize him if you looked closely right now? To survive this, he performs a quiet, miraculous trick. He splits his mind in half. Notice his face in the dark. One eye is squeezed tightly shut against the freezing wind. The other eye is completely open, staring blankly into the black leaves. Unblinking, one half of his brain falls into a deep, heavy stillness. The other half stays wide awake. He leaves a sentry on duty inside his own mind. He is monitoring the quiet scrape of bark, the shifting of a branch, the sudden silence of the wind. Right there, in the dark, he will sit exactly like this for hours. Occasionally, he will close the open eye, open the sleeping one, and switch which side of his mind gets to rest. It is a continuous balancing act of heat conservation and predator surveillance. The cardinal has engineered a flawless way to ration his own consciousness, happening just feet from where you park your car. Look down at his feet. His legs are completely bare. They are nothing but thin skin, tiny tendons, and delicate bones. He is gripping a piece of wood that is completely encased in ice. The cold from the branch should rush straight up his legs, freeze his blood, and stop his racing heart. That shouldn't be happening, but it is. Inside those tiny, bare legs is a hidden plumbing trick. A microscopic radiator. The warm blood rushing down from his hot chest travels through veins that run directly alongside the freezing blood returning from his toes. As they pass each other, the warm blood gently heats the cold blood. It is a perfect, continuous exchange of thermal energy. The blood reaching his toes is just warm enough to keep his tissues alive. The blood returning to his core is just warm enough to keep him from going dangerously cold. His feet are perpetually hovering on the absolute edge of freezing. Totale suspension. Flawless survival. A cold drop of condensation slides slowly off the dark bark of the holly bush. Only the low, hollow hiss of the frozen wind moves through the yard, move toward the warm, humming glow of the street lamp at the edge of your property. The freezing air here is usually entirely silent. Suddenly, out of the darkness, the quiet is shattered. Listen. A European robin is singing. This is not a sleepy, accidental chirp. It is a full, booming, territorial song, echoing straight through the deep night, chill. The sun will not rise for hours. The neighborhood is pitch black. Why are they spending their precious warmth right now? This bird is not confused. It is adapting. During the bright hours of the day, modern life creates an acoustic barrier. Distant highways, delivery trucks idling at the curb, the heavy rumble of lawnmowers. To us, it is just the background hum of the neighborhood. To them, it is a physical wall of sound. Their delicate voices are simply drowned out by the heavy frequencies of daytime traffic. The sound waves they rely on to claim space and find mates cannot travel through the busy afternoon air. So, they wait for us to go to sleep. They wait for the heavy wall of noise to finally quiet down. And then, they speak. They shift their most critical conversations to the darkest, quietest hours of the night shift. Singing requires a massive amount of physical exertion. The tiny muscles in their chest must pump rapidly. In the freezing air, they are actively trading precious body heat just to be heard, spending their only currency on a song in the dark. And yet, they sing. They push back against the cold. They project their survival into the empty street, claiming their invisible territory, while the giant human world slumbers. The distant, muffled rumble of an empty highway blends with a sharp breath of biting air. The robin's song slowly fades into the damp night. Pull your eyes away from the fence line. Look up. Look past the bare branches of the oak tree, past the dark, sloping roof of your house. Look straight into the absolute blackness of the open night sky. It looks like perfectly empty air, miles of silent, freezing nothing. It isn't. Right now, crossing directly over your neighborhood, thousands of feet above your chimney, is a silent, invisible river of life. Flocks of tiny bodies are moving rapidly through the dark. Thrushes, warblers, sparrows. A massive, continent-spanning migration is happening just beyond the reach of your porch light. They are riding the heavy, cold night winds, plunging through the freezing darkness, while the human world sleeps comfortably below them. How is there still a spark of life surviving up there in the frost? You cannot hear them. You cannot see them. But half an ounce of bone and feather is currently fighting against high-altitude crosswinds. Pushing southward in the dead of night, flying through the darkness demands incredible endurance. Their wings beat constantly in the thin air. Their tiny hearts race at an incredible speed. The cold up there is brutal. The wind pulls at their feathers. They are flying blind, navigating by the magnetic pull of the earth and the faint glow of the stars. They balance this incredible journey by borrowing time from tomorrow. During the bright afternoon, when they finally descend from the sky, these tired travelers will land in unfamiliar yards just like yours. They will find a quiet, hidden branch deep inside a shrub, and they will drop into microscopic naps, 12 seconds long, just a dozen seconds of a half-sleeping mind, repeated over and over again. They pay back the heavy effort of the night in tiny, invisible fractions. 12 seconds of rest, a quick, sharp glance for hawks, another 12 seconds of sleep, a relentless rhythm of survival, happening in the middle of a sunny afternoon while you drink your coffee on the patio. Total atmospheric stillness. The thin, freezing mist drifts under the pale moonlight. 4 in the morning approaches. The temperature in the yard drops to its absolute lowest point. The frost thickens aggressively on the wooden fence, turning the wood white. The cold is a heavy physical weight pressing down on the grass. Inside the holly bush, the cardinal fluffs his feathers out one last time. He is trapping a tiny, brilliant layer of warm air directly against his skin, shrinking into a perfect, Silent sphere of conserved heat. The open eye watches the dark time. The open eye slowly closes. The opposite eye opens. The mind rests. Down by the streetlight, the singing robin finally goes quiet, saving his warmth for the dawn. High above the roofline, the invisible river of migrants continues to flow southward, leaving absolutely no trace behind in the black sky. In just over an hour, the sun will finally begin to break the horizon. The frost will catch the early light and begin to melt. The neighborhood will wake up. People will walk down their driveways, start their cars, look out at a perfectly ordinary yard, and assume nothing happened here at all. They will see an empty lawn. They will be completely unaware of the massive, incredible night shift that just ended directly beneath their feet and high above their heads. But your yard was never empty. The silence was never still. Our fences and our gardens are not voids waiting to be filled. They are a shared sanctuary. This is the quiet treaty of coexistence we hold with the natural world. Our homes are built in the middle of their ancient, invisible neighborhoods. These resilient little neighbors do not ask for much from us. They only ask for a shadow to hide in, a branch to hold on to when the wind bites. By simply leaving a dense bush unpruned at the edge of your property, or allowing a quiet corner of fallen leaves to stay dark and wild through the long winter, you are doing something profoundly beautiful. You are offering a vital, life-saving resting place for the quiet workers of the night. You are giving a tired, freezing traveler a safe place to close one eye against the bitter wind. If you wish to walk alongside these silent neighbors and discover the extraordinary wonders hidden right inside our ordinary world, press subscribe. Let's step into the shadows and explore the quiet corners of this planet together.